Yo, what's up, you guys? To Trade FX here. So, yeah, as promised, I did mention in the group that I'm gonna make a video on the reclaimed order blocks, and how to use them. But yesterday I managed to finish this PDF, and yeah, we're just gonna make a quick rundown and just quickly explain everything, and then from there we'll go to the live charts just to give you an in-depth explanation, because I do understand that there is a portion in the community or on the Telegram community which prefer videos over documents. So as I just want to accommodate everyone. So let's start here. What is a reclaimed order block? So I'm just going to touch on a few things. So a reclaimed order block is an order block which obviously failed. So let's say I'm just going to make it brief so that we can get straight to the charts. It's an order block which failed. So let's say that you're in a downtrend. Obviously what you'd want to focus on is bearish order blocks, right? So in this case, if a bearish order block fails and then price comes back to trade below that level of the order block, that's when we'll be able to utilize it as a reclaimed order block. So you'll just go through the notes. I'll try to attach the link in the description to my Telegram where this document is, so that you can easily access it for those of you who are only on my YouTube and not on Telegram. So fine, let's see here. Let me see what I'm missing here. So yeah, another way to explain this understanding is that it's an order block that was not respected in the order flow or trend which it's usually expected to be respected in. That's what I was mentioning. Like if you're in a downtrend or an uptrend, in a downtrend you'd expect bearish order blocks to be respected, and then in an uptrend you'd expect bullish order blocks to be respected. So yeah, how to identify a reclaimed order block? Usually it occurs after a higher time frame setup fails, even when the order flow was still correct. So we're gonna touch on this one on the slide that we have below. So yeah, you really need to be good at identifying structure in order for you to make your judgments on whether the order block that you're choosing would qualify as a reclaimed order block. So in this case, we have a perfect example here in my regard as a perfect example for a reclaimed order block, as we saw on the other following slides that it did come back to it and respect it perfectly. So yeah, let me see here. So what am I saying? So yeah, these are some of the notes that you need to understand, you need to go through, right? So why am I saying that a reclaimed order block occurs after a high time frame setup fails? It's because once a high time frame Quasimodo or QM setup fails, it could just very well be seeking liquidity. And what I mean by this, is that as you can see here, we have this QM setup here. Not really sure if it will draw. We have this QM setup here, right? We left this liquidity here, right? So once this QM setup fails, meaning that price will trade above here, it could just very well be using this as a liquidity area, right? That's what I was referring to. So hopefully, yeah, luckily it makes the job easy. So yeah, that's what I was meaning about the setup. So this is your high time frame setup explanation. You'll go over the notes here. These are some of the charts, and I'll just quickly explain on the charts what I mean by this. Explanation of how to approach POIs. This will also dive into the mindset side of trading once you're in your POIs, because someone might say that fine, it's in my POI, let me just sell, right? Because you already refined this. This is from the M15 to the M5. So on the M15, it started from this high to the low right here. So in the M5, we refined from this low to this high to this low here, which is on the M5. You'll see it once we go to the chart. So fine, let's just continue lower, and yeah. So basically, one thing that you need to understand, which we'll dive into hopefully if we don't forget, but let's just touch on it right now. So this is your high time frame setup, right? And this is your everything that you see here, this is your higher time frame liquidity, higher time frame stop hunt, higher time frame break of structure, right? So once you trade into your higher time frame POI, which is the M15 and M5 POI, which was refined, right? This is what you want to see. You want to see the same setup on a lower time frame, right? You want to see, let's say on the M1, you want to see an M1 stop hunt, break of structure, a small inducement, and then a retest on the M1 POI, right? So as you can see, this zone right here is this one right here, is this one on the M15. So what we wanted to see within the zone, we wanted to see the structure right here, right? We wanted to see an M1 stop hunt, an M1 break of structure or structure break, and then we wanted to see a bit of inducement left behind, and then a retest of that M1 POI, right? So that's what we're gonna look at and see whether if we did see it. So the reason why we want to see that is for extra confirmation, to see whether the market is willing to respect the area that we're looking to take sales from. So as you can see here, this is the M15 M5 POI, and then what we wanted to see, as mentioned before, the stop hunt here, right? This was the stop hunt, even though we traded way above it. We had this first stop hunt here, but did we get a break of structure here? No. So we wouldn't regard this first setup here as the first area for the stop hunt. So fine, had the stop hunt here with this move, and then the low in between this high and this high is this one. So we got the break of structure here, right? So after that, where is our inducement? Our inducement is at this level. You can see, have these two highs here, we have this imbalance above it. So this high and this high would be where we would be looking to take sales from. So as we all know, all strategies have flaws, so you wouldn't necessarily expect it to work all the time. So as you can see here, it traded into that POI, stopped, it basically just created a stop hunt, right? Took us out right there. So fine. In this case, this candle right here, should price trade above and then come back below it, we'll look at it as a reclaimed order block, right? Once you go over the notes, you'll see what I mean, right? Because this candle right here failed to hold price below. Let me see, how can I explain it? This candle failed to hold price even though the order block, the order flow was still bearish, right? So fine. What we can expect is that there will still be a bit of energy left within this candle once the market trades below it, and then would expect it to hold price later on. So fine, let's go to the next slides here. So as you can see here, price did trade above it, created resistance around this level, as you can see, and then support right here. So maybe this will just be your typical SNR, support turns into resistance, and then but basically we're approaching it with logic, not just simply looking at an area like this and then assuming that it would respect it at this level. So fine. At this point, what I was expecting, as you can see, once we see the first close, let me see, what is that? I said pay attention to the price levels right here, which is around the low of this candle right here. The low of this candle is around 1.13436, which is around here, and then the high is 1.13443, right, on the M3 chart. So you can see we did break below it. So this is when you should look for yourselves, right? Is it recording? Yeah. This is where you should start looking for yourselves. And basically, one thing which I forgot to mention in the PDFs, whenever you use reclaimed order blocks, use it on the time frame which you saw the failed order block on. So in this case, we saw this M3 zone, this bearish order block zone, or a POI on the M3 chart, right? Basically, we want to stick with that POI on that time frame in order for us to take the sells from. So we'll be monitoring price on the M3 once it trades within that zone. So fine, as you can see, we want to see it close below this candle right here. So we saw the close below. This is when we start looking for sells. Whenever we see any move which trades within the zone, that's when we start looking for sells. And you can see this candle came into the zone, and then we got a clean pullback, and then we got a sell-off, right? So in some regards, someone would have looked at it as this, saying that had a stop hunt here, break of structure, they would have wanted to look for a sell somewhere here. But in this case, we had a proper context of a bearish reclaimed order block, and yeah, as you can see, I did take the sells, but I was just mainly highlighting the M5 level right here. I'm not really sure if it's gonna highlight properly, but this M5 level right there. Then we took the sells from after the reaction, because I saw it a bit later on when it was trading a bit low, and then we got in the move. It started selling off like crazy. So this was 1:17. This was a 1:17. So let's just quickly erase everything so that we can go to the charts. Just want to quickly erase everything so that it doesn't fuck up it doesn't mess up my PDF. So I believe that everything is erased. Even here, I think from here everything is good though. Let's see. Yeah, how to use reclaimed order blocks. So let's just quickly hop on the charts and yeah, basically look at how we found the setup, right? Look at all the reasons why that led to us assuming that this would be the proper context of a reclaimed order block, even though we were wrong on the other trade. But yeah, we're just going to quickly touch on the setup and see. So initially, let's just start. Initially, what I saw, right? I saw that we had the stop hunt here. I looked at this area, this move here as a stop hunt, and then I was like, fine. Since we had that this move here as a stop hunt, I'm just gonna change it. And then I looked at this one as a break of structure right there. So that was my first approach. So I saw this one as a stop hunt. Let me just quickly zoom in. And then I was like, fine. We had the stop hunt here on the higher time frame, break of structure. So I looked at this move here as a small inducement, right? Small inducement right there. And then we took it out, but then price failed to break the structure. And then we came back above, we took this one out. So I was like, fine, maybe this one could be the actual inducement, right? And then we could just very well look into trade into a zone around this level. So obviously we did take out this high, so it could just very well be a level in here that led to this price dropping. So let me just quickly do a replay tool, because I don't remember doing anything checking out the zone. So where's that tool? Let's just quickly check out whether we have anything within the zone. Let's see, M30, M15, M5, because your duty is to find out why price is reversing, right? So on the M3 we can see we had this candle right here. Then let's check out the M2. Just want to see So on the M2, have this candle M1 just for verification. So let's quickly change the color. So fine, we'll just assume that this was the whole structure that was available for that move. That's too fast though. So fine, let's just say we did see it this way, right? I'll just say we did see it this way. So after seeing this move, after anticipating that, I wanted to see price trading lower because I saw it around here, right? I saw it around here, and then I looked at this level here as a stop hunt. I looked at this level here as a stop hunt or manipulation. So price unfolded. Then after unfolding, that's when I looked for my setup here. I was like, fine, price obviously wants to trade lower. I wanted to see lower prices as well, looking at these low equal lows here, a bit of equal lows there. But yeah, and we had this break of structure there, which I could be wrong in my translation of the charts, but yeah, it's always better to find out why you're wrong. So I looked at it as this setup right here. So, and then if it did fail, I would have wanted to look at it from this level. So obviously after the reclaimed order block trade, I didn't take any trade afterwards. So yeah, 30. So this is how I looked at it. I looked at a POI above here for a sell. What was it? I don't think it was above here. So let me just quickly see. Let me quickly see something. Oh yeah. So this was my actual setup, right? This was my actual sell setup which I had. From the higher time frame. Stop hunt, break of structure, inducement. I wanted to see it giving us a sell-off in the zone. So what I wanted to see a QM pattern within this level right here, and then a sell-off, right? So that's what we would be waiting for on the that's the M3, I think. M3 or M1, not really sure. Yeah, I think it was on the M3. So waited for price to trade into that zone. It got in that zone. So no proper context of a stop hunt. So if you were to look at it from as this level here as a stop hunt or manipulation of this liquidity right here, obviously what you'd want to see is a break of structure. I don't think it did happen here. So price continued to trade higher. So obviously this one wouldn't count. You wouldn't be in any trade at the moment. So you'd still be waiting. Your new level where you should see a break of structure should be here. Again, let's see. Again, as you can see, we're still within that POI, although like the reaction, it's like for me, I wouldn't. It's just testing my level of comfort here. So at this point, your stop hunt would be here. You'd look at the lowest low in between these two highs, and then this would be your area where you'd expect a break of structure. And once you see that we had this break of structure here, right? Let me just quickly label this as a manipulation. And then this is your inducement right here. It's your inducement because you have an imbalance and also an untested area above it. So this is where you'd want to sell, right? With me, the sell limit, that's what I would use. That's what I would use right here. And then first target would be at the low where the retracement started from. So let's say if it starts to retrace from here, once I sell from here, first target would be here, right? So that's just to add a bit of discipline into trading. So you can see immediately just came in, stopped us out. So from here, we just wait for price. As you can see, it continued to trade above. Fuck, I'm so, oh. Came below here way too fast. So as you can see, it did trade a bit above this price here. And as you can see, if we go back to the M15 where we had our higher time frame setup, so how I'd look at it is that fine, this high which we didn't want to see price trading above could just very well be used for manipulation, and then let's see, possibly a reaction of this from this resistance right here, resistance level here, which is your imbalance. Damn, these chickens, feel like I'm at Nando's. So yeah, got this reaction here from this imbalance, which was just initiating the liquidity which was above this level here. So fine, let's see on the M3. Once we got that reaction here from the imbalance, we wait for price to break below this previous OB, which failed to hold price below, right, which failed to be respected. So fine, I don't know, man, I feel like I'm gonna kill this chicken Sunday. But yeah, it's the cycle of life, isn't it? I'm just joking. But anyway, yeah, the entry would basically be here, 36, and then your stop loss would be above there. Then that's your whole setup on the reclaimed order block. And then where would your targets be? Targets, primarily, if you want to be conservative, would just be here. If you want to be conservative with your targets, just simply be here. Let me quickly do this. This one is to 12, and then your last target being here would basically be 1 is to 17, right? So let's just quickly go to the M1. I want to see this on the M1. So you can see on the M1 we did get a reaction there, but then the reason why I'm saying you need to focus on the time frame where you got the lower time frame set up on is because of that. You can see on the M3 we did not get any reaction yet. So let's just slow this down. You can see entry here. And then price came back for that second retest, first target, second target.